Well, basically my talk will be about traversing the transhuman, bridging the gap between biology and technology through art. So I'd like to begin with some text from my latest performance work to set the scene of this talk, because I'm an art student and I like to mix things up a bit and keep it real. Also, as an artist, although I strive to stay away from pseudoscience, I'm going to shamelessly waive my artistic license, and fingers crossed I'm not going to peeve anyone off. So, 4 letters in an extended sequence yield the blueprint of the human body. With another 22 or more letters, the human mind is beginning to be inscribed, byte by byte, on tiny areas of magnetic discs located across the globe. We've read the body, but performing the mind is an external, symbolic affair, etching private memories, thoughts and desires into non-volatile storage media, a process consuming ever more of our time, to the point where we might legitimately look at this record of these actions to discern our histories and anticipate our futures. It's not going to be a talk about Facebook. I'm just going to throw that one out there straight away. I'd just like to thank Humanity Plus to start for allowing an arts undergraduate student to talk. Usually we're in the pub or smashing stuff on the streets of London, so the fact that I'm here is probably a good thing. In the next 20 minutes, I just want to kind of share some ideas that I've been looking at, how we can sort of engage the public in themes of transhumanism. So I subscribe to this. Art is the task to contribute to evolution, to encourage the mind, to guarantee a detached view of social changes, to conjure up positive energies, to create sensuousness, there's only one word, to reconcile reason and instinct, to research possibilities, and to destroy cliches or prejudices. For me, this conference marks an important turning point in my academic study. When I first attended last year, this conference was due to serve part of a Roots Fund memorial documentary film, which at the time was called Compassion, Our Greatest Flaw, a project which later evolved into ERA, Evolution, Revolution, Awakening. What became instantly obvious to me was how the Humanity Plus agenda had not yet permeated the consciousness of the majority of my student peers, mainly because they were usually busy doing that. Often, thinking about the future has negative connotations for students, and having been born in 1989, the year which saw the publication of the first extra-B journal of transhumanist thought, I firmly cling to the fact I'm part of the generation that has lived through the most formative years in the digital techno-social revolution, which has firmly claimed its place in the Kindle-based history books of the future. That's to say, if we're going to have history books in the future. So what concerned me the most was the fact that students were not thinking or engaging in concepts of near-future scenarios, an issue which permeates various subjects and courses. It's going to be my generation of law students who could quite conceivably be fighting the Gattaca-style bioethics within the next 15 years, and with the scary possibility that we may be living in the United States of Palin within the next couple of years. A culture in which science is heavily funded and equally heavily legislated is concerning. It's the public who must be empowered and engaged with the agenda of H+ to make their own decisions about forming what we consider the future human. With increasing technological developments over the last 15 to 20 years, the generation gap has been reduced from decades to only a few years. A child born today will be born into a world that is ever more virtual, based more and more on abstraction. If you give a child a choice between a material LP or a CD, or a small virtual representation of the cover art on his iDevice, the choice will be made without a second thought. Why would I want to carry an unwieldy object when I could just transport the music simply in digital format on my handheld device? We have adapted our preferences towards virtuality. Of course, this raises issues of inheritance, or if or when you die, it will be another couple of years or decades before we're faced with this problem, but have you ever wondered who's going to inherit your iTunes account? I mean, your granddad can pass down his LPs, but of course your iTunes account is tied in with passwords, and the same is true of your digital ghosts. What will happen to the digital debris we left behind? I would like to propose that mine is the last generation who can look back critically at a time when the material and virtual coexisted in a separate space. These spaces are converging at an alarming rate, and this is affecting our interactions with technology and the way we view the human. A child born today is, despite lack of AGI as it's formally conceived, super intelligent. With a single Google search, a child has instant access to a plethora of information. With Google Earth, the entire globe can be navigated with little travel cost endured, and languages can be translated without a single understanding of the complexity of linguistics of other cultures. This virtual world is also plagued by complexity, a complexity born of information, which this, the biological brain, is not designed to comprehend. As performance artist Stellark has stated in his early work, it's time to question whether a bipedal breathing body with binocular vision and a 1400cc brain is an adequate biological form. It cannot cope with the quality, complexity and quantity of information that's accumulated. It is intimidated by the precision, speed and power of technology, and it is biologically ill-equipped to cope with this new extraterrestrial environment. Put simply, what remains is the fact that this is not designed for 58 of these a day, 24 of these a day, and 124 of these a day. And in fact, usually Twitter isn't designed for how many times we tweet. We've paradoxically found ourselves in this position. Technology is, after all, created by the human. Progress of humanity is marked by the enhancement of our cognitive powers through the advances of science, which in turn enabled the technological extension of our physical capabilities, resulting in a restructuring of social relations that in turn expanded our horizons. A feedback loop of transhumanism, I suggest. But let's not hastily devalue the brain just yet. The brain has, to a point, done a fantastic job at navigating complexity. And it still remains the most advanced computational piece of hardware that it is. It deals fantastically with processing this, our conception of reality. As Catherine Howes advocates, humans were to be seen primarily as information processing entities who are essentially similar to intelligent machines. But instead of CSS or HTML, it is the signifier of language which allows us to process our reality and to comprehend and encounter the world we experience with a string of 22 or plus letters. The world is wondrous, and without language it is seen for its beauty and complexity. A child will see a television as a magical box of light and have no conceptual understanding of the complexity of the subject. It's not until a signifier is given in terms of this code or this word do the words become code and the data is stored. The brain allows this code to be compressed and decompressed, manipulated and reconstructed to create our own virtual realities. If I tell you not to think of the purple elephant, I bet all of you thought of the purple elephant. This compression is useful because it helps us reduce the consumption of expensive resources such as hard disk space or transmission bandwidth. On the downside, compressed data must be decompressed to be used, and this extra processing can be detrimental to some applications. Can you think one thing while saying another? And you may notice this is from Wikipedia, and since I'm a student, that's where I get all my references from. So now it's quite easy to contextualise the human in parallel with the technological discourse of the age. And we should keep warning to this because it's nothing new. And it refers to what's commonly referred to as kind of systems theory, which can be applied to the earth, industry, humans and computers. However, it's only now that this discourse of digital fits so well with our understanding of the body. Beyond the fact that we consider ourselves code, or DNA, we have always had Wi-Fi, before it was even popular, before Conway Hall even has it. We've had wireless data transfer, and we call that speech. And this has been augmented. And other languages are merely operating systems. Learning a language is merely emulating an operating system. A book is merely a software package which contains data, words, or language. And here is someone doing an installation.